Now, delving more into this, joining us from Paris is Majid Bouden, an international law professor, and from occupied Jerusalem, Abdel Makki, who is a political science professor. Welcome to you both. Thank you for being here with us on Qnews. I'll start with you, Dr. Bouden. So by announcing the new construction plan, Smotrich stated that it would end the idea of any idea of a Palestinian state because there will be nothing and no one to recognize. Does Smotrich's statement not constitute a clear admission of intent to violate international law?
First of all, when a state breaches international law, there is no necessity always to have the intention to do it. The fact that they breach international law is sufficient. And here, there is more than that, where they have the intention, and there is a plan, which is a systematic plan to prevent the creation of the Palestinian state. The fact why this is a breach of international law, because Israel has been declared as the occupying state, and they have an obligation to maintain the protection of the Palestinians, meaning the protection of the population and the protection of the land and of the structure on the land. So Israel is doing the opposite, so they are breaching international law. The equation is very simple and it's a crystal clear matter. So Israel, there is no dispute that Israel is breaching international law. Now, the ground also, we have the declaration of the advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice, who said that. There is the Security Council who said that. So the matter is very clear. Now, what to do in front of this accomplished fact, a fait accompli? What to do here? Israel doesn't obey to the decisions or the legal opinions or the advisory opinions of the International Court of Justice, but here all the states, they have made a recourse before the ICJ, could go again before the International Court of Justice and seek another conservative provisional measure. And as we look at it on international law, it's very probable that they will obtain this decision and they will go with that to the international security, to the Security Council.
Okay, I'm bringing you in, Dr. Makki. So Smotrich has said that pending approval, the so-called E1 project will go ahead and has Netanyahu's backing. Is Netanyahu now fully and completely in with the far-right members of his coalition?
Yes, I think by this project, he is chosen his extreme coalition members of the government. Even that, this project is was before. Even Netanyahu wasn't with his coalition, but his idea also. This E1, it was before, but had been frozen because there are some, criticism by the international community and also by the United Nations. Now, as you know, because what's happening now, it's like a suitable time for this government to start talking about this project, and even implementation now have been, that started, before 2 days when Smotrich went there and he said that now he will start this project. So Netanyahu approved this, and Netanyahu was known everything about this project. He's supporting Smotrich, regardless if because of his coalition, he wants them to stay on the government, and they will be, encourage him and supporting him in staying in the government, and especially in the war of Gaza. But Netanyahu is not even take care or even ignore the international community and also the United Nations. He's just now focusing on the internal issues concerning his extreme government, his coalition, and he wants them to stay, and he wants to support them because the idea of the E1 now have been supported by the Smotrich, which he is one of the founder of the settlers and settlements in the West Bank. So this is a good chance for Smotrich to start this. He knows that Netanyahu will support him, because if not, Smotrich, he will resign, and this will drop the government of Netanyahu from the government. So I think Netanyahu is sacrificing with all things. Just he want to his coalition in the government, especially the extreme, that members to stay in the government.
Professor Bouden, I mean, you mentioned the legalities of it. These expansion of settlements, even despite UN Security Council Resolution 2334 declaring them illegal, it can't be seen as anything other than a deliberate defiance of international law, can it? Professor Bouden?
Yes, hello.
I was just saying, it can't be seen as anything, the expansion can't be seen as anything other than a deliberate defiance of international law.
Yes, I
You
mean,
ask me?
That's for Professor Bouden.
Okay.
yeah. Under international law, the acts of Smotrich are the acts of the Israeli government, because they have been approved by the prime minister, so they are acts of the government. The acts of the government are the acts of Israel as a state. So the state of Israel is liable. On the other hand, the fact that Smotrich is backed by Netanyahu is involving the criminal responsibility of Netanyahu and Smotrich, and all states can go, or even the Palestinians, they can go before the International Criminal Court and make filing against Netanyahu and Smotrich. Also, the countries in the international community, like all the European countries, Canada, Australia, they have been taking action against Smotrich, against Ben Gvir, etc. They could add this to the list of sanctions, and so there are a lot of possibilities to stop these matters. Even, we can say, even if Palestinians or Israelis or they want peace, wanting peace, they can go before Israeli courts, even if there is 0.1% possibility to ask the Israeli judiciary to stop the government of Netanyahu and Ben Gvir and Smotrich to do these to pursue this new settlement. And then we have two possibilities. Even the judiciary, the Israeli judiciary, will reject that, and then it's established that there is no state of law for the Palestinians, and there is no democracy for the Palestinians. So there is a discriminatory situation. Or they obtain this, and they and Smotrich and Netanyahu has to obey to their own local judiciary. So all the possibilities are there to force this government to withdraw from continuing in this illegal act. But the most important thing is the act before the International Court of Justice.
Okay, and coming to you, Dr. Makki, Smotrich declared, the latest move, he said, it buries the idea of a Palestinian state. What does that reveal about Israeli policy when a senior government official openly declares the goal of permanently denying Palestinians the right to self-determination?
Look, for this project, which was before, as you know, this is government, is extreme government, which is consists from the members of the Tunisian, that coalition, parties, Ben Gvir and Smotrich, and also some of the radicalist parties in Israel with Netanyahu, Likud. So for this matter, I think this E1 project, the purpose of this project and the main objective is to not to have a Palestinian state and to make it isolation, because this project is isolated and divided the West Bank to north and south, and as you know, it also will consist from three big masses of three big settlements, which is Har Homa in Bethlehem, Rosh Etzion on Hebron, and also E1 here. And also this will be around Jerusalem. So it will be, there are many objectives for this project, which is to isolate Jerusalem and to not be connected with any of the West Bank locality, and also at the same time to divide the West Bank to the north and west, and this is will make it isolated, and it will be like islands in West Bank. So there is no any possibility that there will be state in the future because it will be divided and isolated by this project. This project is on the mountain of Jerusalem, and it is in the way in the middle of near Jerusalem, in the middle of the road between that's the southern part of West Bank, and also in the middle Ramallah, and also in the way with Jericho, and for the northern part of West Bank. So that's mean this project is like that it's a problematic for the Palestinian, and even that in the de facto in the ground it will prevent to make any or to establish a Palestinian state in the future, and also at the same time this will that will be like deadly scores against the Palestinian, especially for the self-determination, which have been, that's even by the United Nations Resolution 242-338, and also with the General Assembly, and the determination, even the admission of all countries that they should have a Palestinian state. As you know, the last this month was there have been conference in New York between France and Saudi Arabia, and many of the European countries have been said that they will be recognition of the Palestinian state in the September. Many of them have been recognized, that already. But Israel, as you know now, they, according to Smotrich, he have been made all these things on the ground, action. Now he said that there will not be any Palestinian state. We birthed this, and there no more any discussion about having this state for the Palestinian. And also at the same time, he said that there will be the annexation of the West Bank to Israel. That will be a part of the annexation of the land, but not the annexation of the people. And now they started to increase their reason and justification to the people to go out, like what's happening now in Gaza. So they want the land, but they not want the people or the citizen. They want to have the that's big Jerusalem, and also biggest Israel, like Netanyahu said before 3 days on his map.
Now, Professor Bouden, shouldn't Smotrich's admission trigger some kind of immediate legal repercussions or sanctions?
Of course. I mean, the fact that he started to act in this way, it could allow countries to start a set of sanctions against Israel as a state and against the persons of Smotrich and Netanyahu and others. So the matter is clear, and it's very urgent for now to go before the International Court of Justice and seek another relief with a declaration of the obligation to put the situation in the status quo ante. It means to put the situation in the situation where it was before this movement and before all the settlement movements, and to declare that all the settlements are owned by the Palestinian state and not by the Israeli state, and that the Palestinian state will be owner of these settlements as part of the damages that the state is entitled to claim. So this could be persuasive to the settlers that they are building on the lands of others and they are not entitled to. So they will have to have the charges of destroying these settlements on their charges, and that these settlements could remain the property of the Palestinians and not of the Israelis, because it's built on the land of the Palestinians, and the intentional fact that they are building on the land of the Palestinians, knowing that, will prevent them from using the good faith, because they are doing it in bad faith. So the international court, international law on damages is very clear that these settlements will be owned by the Palestinians, and if they are destroyed, it will be on the cost of the Israelis.
Okay, and coming to you, Dr. Makki, I mean, with settler violence surging, often under Israeli military protection, this must be evidence of a systematic campaign to entrench Israeli control over Palestinians through terror and displacement.
Again, what I don't understand what you mean.
Yeah, with settler violence is surging. Often they're under Israeli military protection as well. Do you think this is evidence of a systematic campaign to entrench Israeli control over Palestinians through terror and displacement?
Yes, I think this is, that about the violation of settlers now. It is under the protection of the Israeli, that's army and the Israeli government. And this is systematic. Yes, it's like a program put in by the government, and also with the cooperation with the Israeli settlers, in order that they want to make the fears to the Palestinians. And it's like they are the terror against the Palestinians. They want the Palestinians not to stay in their home and in their neighborhood, especially this week or on this yesterday. Many of the settlers attacks the Palestinians in their neighborhood, their locality, especially in Yatta, Sinjil, in Hebron, in Ramallah, in even Nablus. Many of the settlers also in Oja, in Jericho, also they have been attacking the people. Many of the people have been injured. Two persons, one person and his wife have been attacked by the Israeli settlers. So I think the Israeli government, especially the army, they also protect the settlers when they go there and they attack the Palestinian, and also they interfere, and also they arrested the Palestinian who they are just defeated in by themselves against the settlers. So this is the campaign, a program campaign, which also by the Israeli government protect the settlers, and they encourage them to go there. The Israeli government, which is the extreme government, want the Palestinians to go out of their home, or of their land, out of this, that place, this country. They want them not to stay there. This is their objective of what they are doing now, especially for this government. This government now they are using the situation, that in the war, especially the war in Gaza, especially Trump government, especially even the ambassador Akbi, which is also encouraging the settlers, that to attack the Palestinian. He is believing with the idea that this land for the Israel, not for the Palestinian, and also the Trump even administration. Also, they encourage the Israeli government and the settlers to attack the Palestinian. Because of this, that there is now confrontation between the Palestinian and the Israeli, and I think in the future this will increase, and this will be maybe reach to like third intifada against the Israeli because of the settlers attacking the Palestinian. Now,
Okay,
we see that.
Okay, let me just bring. We haven't got a long left. Sorry about that. I just want to bring Professor Bouden in one more time. Obviously, all this comes from Smotrich says because of those nations who are planning to recognise a Palestinian state in September at the UN. Based on his own words, Smotrich urged Netanyahu to apply Israeli sovereignty and ensured that by September, he said, the hypocritical leaders in Europe will have nothing to recognize. So the countries like where you are in France and the UK and others, do you think Netanyahu doesn't really care about these countries who have given so much to Israel and supported Israel so much, as long as Netanyahu keeps the United States on side?
Of course, I mean, Netanyahu is aware that these countries, especially the European countries, plus the G7 countries, have a weight in the international community. So they have a fear to see the Palestinian state recognized. So this is why they are moving to prevent the situation, but the recognition by the Israeli parliament, or the decision by a law, or by a decision from a minister of the cabinet, they have no value under international law. So the international community will not take into consideration these acts. They are political acts, but they are legally without any effect. They are null and void. But here we have another tool to go and to deploy all the sanctions possibilities, even against the settlers, one by one, to list them on the sanction list. And this will make an effect on their action. And this is why there is a lot of possibilities to act against these legal acts. And it's important to prevent them by taking immediate actions before the International Court of Justice, the International Criminal Court, and different courts, and the sanctions from the states like Canada, France, England, Australia, New Zealand, and other countries. So now the situation is changing, but the acts must go fast. And this is why a need of provisional measures is important today.
Well, thank you very much, both of you, for joining us here on Q News. Majid Bouden, international law professor, and Abdel Nasser Makki, who is a political science professor. Thank you both for being here with us on Q News. And that's the end of this episode of Think Tank